This is Sergio from MMA-Prospects.com. I am really excited today. I'm joined by Christian Natividad. How you doing, man?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing good. I'm very busy, like I was saying earlier, but I'm super excited. I got a fight coming up, and I just got a ton of butterflies in my stomach for the past couple days, and I'm just so stoked to get back in there.
Yeah, I saw that if the contract is officially signed, so I'm sure that kind of feels like a weight off your shoulders. Now you know it's official.
Yeah, so what was tough was they're trying to get me a fight back on June 4th, so just about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't find an opponent, and they finally hit me up and they sent me the contract, and I immediately signed it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love
Mhm.
that wanting to be active, and I think that's kind of summarized your pro career so far. Is how busy you've been. Um,
Mhm.
is it exciting to know that it's just a couple weeks out?
Super exciting, and to be honest, it's really nice that it's not too far out. I mean, the further out it is, the more time I have to prepare, but the less time it is, the more short notice, the less nerves that I have to deal with. So there's good and bad sides to it, but I've been training every single day. I feel like I've been in fight shape, so it worked out perfectly.
So the fights versus Luis Aguirre,
Mhm.
last I checked, anyway. Your
Mhm.
thoughts on the matchup?
I mean, he's just a brawler, like he seems like one of those guys that just likes to fight, so he accepts any fight. I think it would be a good fight, and especially I would say it's my a new weight class for me because I fought at 125 once before. That was back in 2017, so about 4 years ago. So it'll be a tester fight to someone who's down to throw at a relatively, I guess you could say, new weight class again.
So yeah, that was my next question. I mean, dropping back down to 125 pounds right after the pandemic, which is kind of, I mean, for me,
Yeah,
it's like I'd be moving up. So
yeah,
what went
most
behind the
people would.
decision? What went behind the decision to drop down back to 125?
I've always been 25er just with my build and my size. I'm not a big person. I know there's people that are making it big at 135, like John Lineker, a couple other guys that fight at 25 that aren't super tall. But I feel like 25. If I could run over these people at 135, imagine what I would do at 125. And my ultimate goal is to pretty much run both of those weight classes, 125 and 135. But I'm gonna start with the lower one first.
Do you think that moving down to 125 could really fast track you to a UFC? I mean, you see like guys in bantamweight, there's so much depth and so much talent, but then at
Mhm.
125, it really seems a little bit shallow. Do you think that the ability to bounce up and down between the two weight classes really benefits you?
Oh, definitely. I like the way that you said fast track, just because I 100% agree. I think it is a faster way to get to the UFC. But with that being said, I'm not in any rush to uh, get into the big show. I really want to take my time, really fine tune my skills, and get that cage experience. Just because when I get to the UFC, I don't want to be in the UFC just to be in the UFC. I want to be in the UFC to take over. So, yeah, whether it's in a year or 3 years or maybe even five, I'm not in any rush at all just because I know once I get to the UFC, I'll be looking for that championship belt within the next year once I sign.
So your whole pro career has, when you look at the, I guess who they think is going to win the predictions, you've been a heavy favorite in every fight, and
Hmm.
that's no different in this one. How does it
Hmm.
feel to know that people really are rooting behind you, rallying behind you, and believe in you, and believe in the hype?
What's crazy is throughout my entire amateur career, I've always been the underdog. I believe all uh, four of my fights, one of them I wasn't the underdog, but four out of the five fights, I've always been the underdog. And to be honest, I like being the underdog, but to have everyone support me, it's actually a different feeling just because I know I have all these supporters behind me and I have all these eyes watching me. So either way, whether I'm the underdog or the favorite, to be honest, it's just another day. It's another fight.
So I'm a younger brother myself. You have an older brother who competes in the UFC. He
Hmm.
fought for LFA. What was it like seeing his rise through the LFA? And I mean, you're kind of following his footsteps almost.
Uh, it, like him and for all the other fighters that fought at the LFA, definitely very motivating just because a lot of people get called up from the LFA. A good example is the past three LFA headliners, all three of them got into the UFC and they all won their UFC debut. So I know I'm definitely in the right spot. My brother definitely a huge inspiration just because he's the one who got me into MMA itself. He just invited me to the gym one day, fell in love with it, and then I decided to wrestle. Kind of a long story, but I was going to college to join the military. I wanted to be commissioned as an officer of the ROTC program. Once I figured out that that wasn't what I wanted to do anymore, I went all out, full on to MMA. And to be honest, it's only been 6 years since I started training MMA, but it's been the best journey I've been on in my entire life so far.
And not only are you guys brothers, you're best friends, you're roommates, you guys live together. What's it like having someone like that with you both like all the time? I mean, I'm sure if I was, living with my brother and we were both, pursuing the same goals, and I'm like, I'm going to have a cheat meal,
Mhm.
he'd be right on top of me. What's it like having that all the time?
You know, it's crazy that you bring that up because I definitely did need my brother, especially early on my career. So when I started going to college in Oregon, I wrestled there for a little bit. I didn't have my brother with me. He was still in Hawaii. I fell into the temptation of partying, drinking, hanging out late at night. Once we moved to Arizona together, I still had that urge to go party, to drink, meet new people. But he definitely was that extra push to, hey, stay home today, make sure you're healthy. You don't want to work out super, super hard, uh, like kill yourself out at practice and party at night. It's pretty much like breaking even, like throwing away that practice. So I kind of like to think of it more like an investment. Every time I train, I'm investing into myself, and every time I go out, it's kind of like throwing that workout away. So he definitely kept me put me back on track.
So I want to talk a little bit about Hawaii. I mean, right now Hawaiian MMA is at its peak. I mean, you can just go through like the roster of the UFC, Bellator. You got Ray Cooper, Kai Kamaka, Yancy Medeiros, the two of you. It's crazy how many there are. What's the secret behind people from Hawaii making it into these big organizations?
They're dogs, man. You take a look at all these huge big names from Hawaii. They're just down to bang. And to be honest, I think that's the hardest thing to learn because there's a lot of people that do MMA who think they want to do MMA, but they don't want to get hit. Which ideally, yeah, you don't want to get hit because you want to be like Floyd Mayweather, hit people and don't get hit. But you need to accept the fact that it is going to be a fight. They have the opportunity to hit you, and it's a lot of times going to hurt. A lot of times you're going to get rocked. But um, that's the thing I love about like the Hawaiians. Like once they get hit, they get excited, and that's when the show starts.
So you've got you've got a great team around you there at Fight Ready.
Mhm.
What's the secret there? I mean, they're really putting together such a great team out of Fight Ready MMA. So what's it like being there, and what's the secret?
Uh, so being at Fight Ready, it's definitely it's been a huge move for me. I've only been officially there for about 2 to 3 months now, and honestly, there's no secret to it. All you have to do is show up and be a student, which everyone in the world like could could be. Whether you're trying to pursue something in business or something in an athletic career, being a student is one of the most important things because ego could definitely make your career go south. Because if you don't want to take any feedback, if you think you could just be a dog and win every MMA fight by being a dog, then it's not going to work that way because there's always going to be someone that's a little more technical than you and someone else that could be a bigger dog than you are.
That being said, I mean, you really became a student. I mean, you took a long amateur career, which a lot of guys don't do. They just like
Hmm.
to jump right into it. I'm sure, given your background and the fact, like you said, Hawaiians are dogs. I'm sure you would have deep down probably just wanted to scrap, pro level. It didn't really matter.
Hmm.
When you look at back at that guy that took his first amateur fight, are you happy that you stayed that way? And what advice would you give to someone on the come up?
Yeah, so I feel like taking your time is definitely very important. I don't want to say spend 10 years being an amateur, have 25 fights as an amateur, because that's a lot of damage on your body that you're not getting paid for. The thing is, you want to pretty much, when you have your first professional fight, I don't want to say you want to be um, the best that you'll ever be, just because you always want to continue to improve, but you want to get that cage experience and you want to be fully ready before you go pro, because you could be 30-1 as an amateur, or you could be 1-30. Either way, once you turn professional, you're going to be 0-0. So whether you get all the experience or not, whether you win 30 times or lose 30 times, it's all going to reset, and it all depends on how comfortable you are and the knowledge that you've taken in throughout your amateur career.
And then back to July 2nd. What can people expect from you that they haven't seen yet?
I mean, everybody's seen knockouts. Something I guess you uh, could expect to see that you haven't seen yet is just a little more comfort. So that's what I've been working on, because which worked out well for me for my first two professional fights, because I've always been on go, 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 let's knock them out, let's try to take them out as quick as I can, which is good because I mean, my first two fights I took them out within first fight within 3 minutes and second fight within 30 seconds. So those are two highlight reels. But after my third fight, I kind of noticed that I got a little bit tired, just because I was a little too tense, and I had too much pressure on my back. I know there, like you said earlier, a lot of viewers watching me and a lot of people are expecting to see another knockout. And with all of that weight on my shoulders, it does slow me down a little bit. So I've been working on being a little bit more comfortable and being more relaxed, just because if I stay comfortable, if I stay relaxed and I train the way, or I fight the way I train, then the knockout will come. I don't have to force anything.
And then lastly, I'll give you a chance here to plug your social media or any sponsors you want to thank.
Yeah, so social media, just my first name and last name, Christian Natividad. A couple sponsors I definitely did want to mention is Hawaiian Fight Gear. They've always been for me with the start. They actually sponsored me in my first fight, and they continue to sponsor me all the way up to today. Two more that I have, three more. Titan Solar Power, my company. Um, Definitely want to give a huge shout out to them, just because they allow me to work full time, but at the same time still continue chasing my MMA dream. So they allow me to take a few hour break in the middle of the day to, hustle on the MMA side. Uh, Warfield Hair Bar, always have to thank them for the haircut. I got this nice little design right over here. And then Blacksmith, it's a newer and upcoming company, but same thing. They've sponsored me with my first fight all the way up till today.